Hey everyone, well, how are you doing? We're still here under lockdown, under self-isolation, under quarantine. We're here now a month. I think I was on the 9th there. We're a month under official kind of tough lockdown here in Italy, but it's going okay. We're all doing okay, thankfully. It gets a bit boring, as you kind of know now. It gets a bit boring doing the same thing day in, day out and not being able to do anything. But there is some light in there. I did manage to find a home colour hair thing in the supermarket, so I was able to cover some of those greys. The nails, no, they're absolutely going nowhere. Don't know what to do about them. But I also had a birthday since the last time we spoke, and it was the strangest birthday ever. A friend of mine decided to make my day happy and send me something via courier. And it was the weirdest thing. The doorbell rang and I had to go out with a mask and a pair of, dishwashing gloves to answer the door. And on the other side of the door, there was a courier dressed in a boiler suit with a full mask, standing about 2 meters away, didn't say anything, and just pointed at the box that was just at my doorstep. And it was like a scene from Halloween, like Michael Myers, with the mask, the boiler suit and silence, but just pointing. And I said, yeah, it does feel a little bit like that now. Scary movie. Yeah, Halloween. That was a John Carpenter movie, wasn't it? John Carpenter. Maybe it's worth watching his movie, They Live, again. Might be pulling that one out. But anyway, so yes, apart from that very, very weird birthday moment where it was very surreal. And I forgot to mention, actually, in the silence, as I was standing at the door with a mask and dishwashing gloves on, and he was over like Michael Myers on the other side, 2 meters away from me, the first cuckoo arrived. It was the first time I heard it. So in the silence, all you heard was cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. I just looked up and I said, you absolutely got that right. So it was a cuckoo situation, but it was funny anyway. So what are we going to do? What are we going to talk about today? I've been off social media for a while because I have really been kind of paying attention to what's been going on and tuning into the energies, being quiet, going inward, sitting back and really going with that and feeling all the energies. And the thing that interested me or intrigued me actually was when I was trying to tune into the energies, I thought that I'd feel lots of different types of energies. Now, you kind of, there's lots of different layers to energies, but when I was tuning into, say, the people energy, I thought I was going to feel a lot of fear, and that is there. I thought I was going to feel a lot of panic, and sure, it does exist. I thought I was going to feel lots of things like that. But what surprised me most was the feeling of not necessarily like I give up, but more of a, well, what am I going to do now? A kind of feeling of, but what can I do? Everything is so predictable. How can I fix this? Everything is predictable on the outside. How can I do anything? It's a feeling of helplessness that then kind of set itself into a kind of, well, I've resigned to the fact that I can't do anything here about my work, my job, my money, my bills, my loans, my relationships, my this. It was kind of, what can I do? Now, I get that because sometimes we kind of can't fight things. We have to say, well, they're the rules for now. We'll just go along with them. But when it goes a little bit deeper and it goes very personal and makes people feel like, but what can I do? Then that's something I think we need to talk about. And that's what I think we'll do. We'll talk about that. At no point whatsoever should you really allow yourself to feel so unable to make any great significant change despite what's happening out there. And I'm going to use some cards to talk about this. We have a situation of great unpredictability out there. And you can say, but how can I do anything when it's so unpredictable? I can't invest in certain parts of my life because it's also unpredictable. I can't find grounding in myself because everything out there is so unpredictable. I need to feel grounded, safe, secure. I need a level of predictability in my life to minimize minimize lots of my discomfort, because that is a benefit of things being predictable. It takes away the panic, the fear, and the discomfort. But there's also a moment where in unpredictability we might see, it might show where we're also somewhat inconsistent in certain things. So it might show that we're very consistent in following, but what's going on the outside, but are we as consistent about what's going on in the inside? See, we're going to have to reach a point where we find our grounding, where we find something in our lives that we can build on and work on, and see the unpredictability that's going on outside of us as a gift to shake up the earth, to shake up the ground. Uranus is in Taurus. He's shaking the ground, the predictable things, the things that we've always depended on as a source of grounding. Now he's shaking that up. And as I said, that can be a gift, because what we find in the rubble, we can rebuild. So let me talk to you by using the cards here. This card, and you're looking at me saying, not that card. There's a few cards in the tarot that I don't want to see, and this is one of them. Anything but the Tower. It represents all things like a disaster, a catastrophe, things falling down around us. And you're saying, aren't you supposed to be kind of cheering us up a little bit here? What are you doing bringing out this card? Okay, so we'll talk about this card. Again, like the last video I did, not in any huge detail, but we'll just go through some of the symbols. Here we have a strong foundation, perhaps, and all the things that are built on that foundation. And a lightning strike comes, lightning, very much, say in this instance would be Uranian energy, Uranus energy, blowing our mind, the top, the crown, the corona, being knocked off, everything knocked from the top down, and reduced and reduced and reduced to rubble. You'll see there are two people falling, one person falling that direction, another person falling that direction, meaning that in some cases, some people will fall and be glad that this happened. They'll see it as a wonderful opportunity. They'll be grateful that this has happened. And some people, when it falls, will say, this is a disaster, this is a disaster, I can't cope with this. So we can't decide which way we're going to fall, that's for the fates maybe to decide. But you'll see here, little tongues of fire, little flames. There's other little meanings to them too. They could be seen as little alphabetical letters also. But there's 22 of them in total in this card. And 22, that number is the number of the spiritual master builder, but on the physical plane. And this is very interesting, because what's happening here is the spiritual master builder builds things, and we are the co-creators of those things that are built. It's on the physical plane, and we exist both on the physical and the spiritual plane. So we're being asked to go through something. We have our heads knocked off us. We don't know where we're going. We're running around like headless chickens. Things are falling apart. So it seems, but it's just been reduced to the foundations again. So we can build and co-create something new, something more solid that comes from the spiritual and is made manifest in the physical. And when we're done with that, that will also fall and we'll build again. And the cycle goes on and on. When we're done with that, it will fall and we'll build again. Because this card is representative, say, of the Tower of Babel. When we are building spiritually to try to rise high. But then we arrive at a point in our spiritual development and our evolution spiritually where we realize that we're not going to get anywhere by just focusing on the structure, by just looking at the outside world, by just focusing on what's outside, by searching for a life that's outside of us. we have to bring it back down to basics and realize that we're always building stronger structures when we're using our intuition, our spirit, when we're co-creating from the spiritual plane or the unmanifested plane and bringing it into existence here. So if we can see ourselves as co-creators, then we can't get all despondent and feeling, well, what can I do? What can I contribute to this? I just have to wait until God or the gods come in and fix this, or I have to wait until somebody outside in the physical world comes and fix this. It's nothing to do with me. I just have to focus on paying my bills and keeping myself sane under lockdown, keeping my relationships going, keeping the kids happy, keeping my life moving. That's all I can focus on right now. Nothing to do with me, this whole business of co-creating. But it's everything to do with you. Because we come to this card, judgment. This is what we salvage. This is when things are brought back to the very basics, when things come to a real pinnacle moment. We have to examine and dig deep and maybe salvage through the rubble to see what we can pick up on, let go of, make peace with, start over with, like clear the foundation before we can build again. Clear the debris, clear the unusual feelings, and certainly clear this thing of having no hand, act, or part in building something, to manifest something powerful in your life here. So we're salvaging from the debris. And this is a gift. This is a spiritual gift, but it's also a physical gift when we see that we are co-creators, that we are spiritual beings manifesting on this physical plane, that we are the bridge between what's above and what's below, and we create physically. So we can be handed this task, this work, this mission to go on, to start building from the ground up again our relationships, our lives, our beliefs, our understanding of things, our world, and not feeling excluded from building it up again, not waiting for the outside world to build itself up again, because it'll just build more of the same repetitive shit. It will try to repeat what has already collapsed, when it's time instead to weigh this stuff up, judge it, clear the decks, and begin again with the first brick. And then we move forward. Sometimes people see this card, the Knight of Pentacles, as the most boring card in the tarot. When they see it, it's like, boring. This is an incredible card. This is a card of when earth meets fire. The physical earth being brought to life by the passions of fire, being brought into existence, energy, motion, movement happening. But what we're asked to do is to move slowly and steadily, to take the gift of what's happening to us, and it is a gift, and to move slowly and steadily and carefully, but with precision, to create and build something new. This is like the farmer. You see behind him there's a field, and there is riches underneath that, riches beneath the earth. But he has to carefully, patiently, and diligently plant the right seeds, cover them over, and wait patiently for them to grow. He will tend to that field. He will give it water. He will nourish it. He will make sure that it's very cared for in order for it to grow. But he's going to grow something that's long-lasting, enduring, and that gives life, new life and new expression, that feeds him, that nourishes him, that gets him to his future, that gives him enough crop to harvest that he can put it in the store and it can carry him through the darker times. So he's thinking ahead by moving slowly, carefully, with a great sense of planning, with a great sense of organization, but realizing, most importantly, that He is the one who creates this. He is manifesting the passion, the spirit, bringing it onto the spiritual plane and making it flourish and grow. So He is a very interesting character, and like all knights, He's on a mission to do that. And I would say that to you, excuse me, just because the crown has been knocked from us, just because the corona has tumbled, just because lightning has struck, it's not a disaster. This really is a moment for us to step into our world and to pick up pieces, but to clear the deck. Pick up the pieces to move them aside and start again from the ground up and build something stronger, sturdier, and more enduring. More enduring. And this is our gift. This is our task. And this is a real moment where we can come to understand that we're not just bystanders in our life. We're not just people who sit and kind of become pedestrians in our life. We have to be part of this. In fact, it's crucial for us to not just understand, but to know that we are the co-creators here. And in fact, we're very, very important in our energies, in what happens next. In fact, we are the most important part, or the most important piece, or the most important first brick in what happens next. We will grow, hopefully, in confidence to see that. And as we grow in confidence to see that, we'll start building stronger relationships, building stronger networks, building stronger worlds, building stronger financial situations for ourselves. Like this guy who'll have enough grain at harvest to put some more into the storehouse to carry him through the winter months. We are able to do all of this. And we not just should, but I think we're being asked to begin to do that, to realize that we're far more important in our own lives than maybe we've allowed ourselves to believe before. We are the co-creators. As I said, we are not just the ones who stand by and watch it happen like it's happening on a TV screen. We're in it. We are it. So this is a moment of redirection, but a slow and steady redirection that eventually gets you on your authentic path, but on an authentic path that also promises endurance and abundance. And test this. Test where you're going in your future. Test how you can build something more enduring. Test how you're willing to stay determined and on the right course. Test your endurance skills. Test how strong you are. Test your ability to construct something new in your life. And you'll see the proof that you are actually the co-creator in your life. Put it to the test and you'll see it. So I just said I'd share that with you. I don't know if that helps. I don't know if that's where you find yourself at the moment, but it's probably something worth considering, because it's not a thing about giving up or being resigned to the fact that something is happening that you've no control of. Test it. Test the fact that you are the co-creator, the spiritual master builder who can manifest something very positive and abundant for your life, and make it manifest, long-lasting and enduring, and so may it be, and so may it continue. So my loves, I'm going to leave it at that, and I'll go back into my space of tuning into the energies and reading all that's going on and feeling it out, and maybe I'll be able to come back with another message. And I probably won't be as present on social media because of that, because I'm really also, like you, going through so many different changes. And honestly, the downloads that I'm getting are huge. They're really, really huge. And I'm allowing myself time to read that, feel that, and get into that. And of course, I also have my own stuff to be taken care of too. But I'm always thinking about you, and I'm always thinking about how the energies are working for us and how we push forward and what it is that we need to understand in order to keep moving forward. So, my little co-creators, my little manifestors, the spiritual builders who are going to manifest something powerful, long-lasting and enduring in our lives, let's give it all that. Let's give it the energy. Let's give it the strength. Let's give it the force. And let's give it our love. And of course, as always, I'm going to give you all my love. And I'm going to leave you, my gorgeous, with a great big kiss. Get working, get moving. And as I said, test it. You'll see. Big kiss from me to you. Mwah. Until next time, my beautiful. Bye.